Hello, welcome back to Creative Design and Supply. Today we are going to talk about dark and light transfers. A lot of you have asked. There's two different directions for these. So I'm going to do the dark and the light today. So if you turn these over, they're going to look different. So the light is going to have the blue writing on it, and the dark is going to have the red lines. So it's going to get a little complicated. I'm going to walk through all the steps though. So on the light, we are going to mirror as usual and cut. With the dark, we do not mirror. This is actually going to be either peeled off, or you can put a mask on it and pick it up and press it. So what we are going to do, I'm going to show you something that we're going to print, and we're going to walk through all this. Bear with me. Okay guys, so we're at the screen. I hope you're going to be able to see on this. So what we are going to do is we are going to pick something from our library, and I happen to pick this little guy right here. Okay, so we're going to get everything ready before we print, and then I'm going to show you how we print also. So I'm picking this one right here. What we have to do first off is go over here to your page setup, and you see the paper, then the grid, and then you see the one with the white corners on it. That is going to be your registration marks. So we are going to touch that. Okay, registration marks are turned off. We want to turn them on. So we're going to go over and we're going to press that. Now you see, let me get the cute little dog out of the way. So you see your grid. Okay, this is where you're going to be able to print. But we can make it a little bigger than what it is now. I will go ahead and show you that. On this one, you're going to press for the advanced. You're going to go down. You're going to see your left inset, top, right, and bottom. We can move all three of the top ones, but we have to leave the bottom one alone. So with that being said, I can do the left one, and I'm going to scroll it all over to as low as I can get it, and that's 0.394. Then I'm going to go over to the top. I'm going to scroll that one over to the same. Then I'm going to do the right. Do you see how you're getting a bigger spot to be able to print and cut? And then I'm going to do the right inset. Scroll it over. That is as big as you're going to be able to make it. I have found that if you mess with the bottom one, you have problems. So I just avoid problems and leave the bottom one as it is. So then I'm going to minimize that. Okay, and then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to bring our pretty little dog over here. So it's showing the whole mat, but when you print and you have your long sheet, we remind you we are cutting those in half. So we have to go back over here to the page. Okay, and then we have to click for we're going to do the media size, and we're going to go down here to letter. Okay, now you see that is how it's going to traditionally print. You can move it any way that you want to set it on there. Okay, so I have him right here. I'm going to go ahead and let me zoom in just a little bit. Okay. So if you see right here, if you go through those lines, okay, so I am going to scroll and I'm going to go ahead and drag him just a little bit bigger. Okay, mind you, keeping him inside the red lines. Okay, his hat's out just a little bit. So I either want to bring him over or drop him down a little bit. So I'm bringing him over a little bit. Okay, now we're going to get ready to trace. Before we print and everything, it's a good idea to go ahead and trace him. So we are going to go over here to the trace. I say it's like almost like a little butterfly. Okay, we're going to select trace, then we're going to go over and we're going to highlight. Come on, move you over just a little bit. No. Okay, so if another little trick I'm going to let you know. So if I do something and I want to go back, I can do Control Z and it will take me back. It will undo the last thing that I did. So let me do this. It's easier with the, and just go ahead, so that way I'm making the box bigger, so that way it will. But you see his face and his tail and his feet are not highlighted for the trace. So we are going to go over here to the threshold, and we are going to pull him until he is completely on the outside. And we are going to trace the outer edge. Okay. So now we have a cut line around it. So when we come over here to send, you can see the cut lines. So that's for the cut. So we're not going to do anything else. I'm going to show you with the printer. That was just to show you that we have our cut lines. We're not going to do anything else with that. Bear with me. I'm going to switch the camera back. Okay. Since I'm going to do the light and the dark, I decided that my image of the little dog with the black outfit on for Halloween is not going to work because it's just going to fall into this. So to give you a better example, I found a beautiful sunflower. So we're going to do that. But you're going to take your paper and you're going to fold it in half is the easiest way to do it. Or if you have a slice cutter, you can do it that way. I've always just met the two corners, folded it, and then I would cut it. Okay, and I'll be right back. I'm going to cut this and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we're back. As you can tell, I changed it to this pretty sunflower. Went through, traced my lines. I have my cut lines. Now I am going to, I cut my two pieces of paper. So now I'm going to start with the light. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to select this and I'm going to need to flip it horizontally. So that way, okay, I have to go back and let me take that over there since I traced it. Okay. Now, make sure on my cut lines, I'm going to need to move it over just a little bit. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to need to select and trace it. And when you trace it, after you trace it, you do not want to move that part. So we are going to go over here and we're going to get the entire thing. Okay. Now I'm going to press trace. Okay. Now it has it traced. So if I go in to send like I would go to cut, you would see the lines. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and print, and whenever I print it, I'm going to print it. It's going to print the registration marks, and then it's going to know where to cut it. So I'm going to go, and this is with my light. It has the light blue writing on it. So I'm going to go into print. Let me go ahead and make sure this is okay, and it's going to show me a preview of the print. I'm going to go into the settings, okay, and then I'm going to put my paper in the printer and we're going to print it out. Bear with me. I'm going to pause it one more time. Okay guys, so I'm back. I have printed out the one on my light paper that I mirrored the image. Okay, so I'm going to show you step by step on the dark with we are not going to mirror the image. I still have my trace lines around here. Okay, and I'm going to print from the Silhouette. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go to print. Your print preview is going to come up. You have your registration marks on. You're going to select print. Mine comes over here and print. I always do a print preview on the printer part just so I know that everything is correct. So right up here, it has everything correct. So I'm going to press start printing. Okay, so I have printed that. Printed both of those. So now I have two different files because whenever you trace them, you have to leave them like they are. So I have a dark sunflower, and then I should have named this one light, but okay. So we're over here to the light one because you don't want to move this because the registration marks. Okay, so I'm going to put this on my mat. Move it down, and normally you would really want to let this cure, this ink on this paper, but I'm going through to just show you the motions. Okay guys, so I have my camera in my hand. Bear with me if it shakes. I'm going to press send so it will pick this up. A lot of times this registration mark will not be picked up, and I will show you a little trick on that. So I'm going to press send and see if it shows that it didn't find it. Okay, so it did not find it that time. Okay, and so it shows right down here that it's not registered. Let me show you a little trick. So you're going to have to shoot it back out, okay? And okay. So let me see if I can do this one-handed. Okay, bear with me. I'm going to load it. Okay, guys, so I'm back. So I've loaded it, and your actual laser is right up underneath here that detects that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll this down and get it right up underneath it. And let's see if that works. It may take a few times. All right. Okay, it found it that time because it goes down and it checks where it's actually at. Okay, and then it's going to start cutting. Okay, so I have this one cut out. We are going to start with the dark because this is the Inktra Opaque stretch. So we're going to do this one at 350 degrees for 30 seconds with a low to medium press, and this is going to be a cool peel. So on this one, since I didn't mirror my image, I would have to have peeled this off. But there is a little trick to that. Here I have some Caesar High Tack. This transfer is for heat, not for adhesive. So I would pull this one. I would pull this off. Okay. I'm going to set it down in there. Put it over it. Okay. Now I'm going to squeegee it so that way it will pick it up. Usually I cut the area and use that, but I'm just trying to show you, for example, on this one. We're going to cut. We are going to get a dark shirt. Purple, how fitting. Be cute like LSU. Bright. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to show you this step. Since I've already picked it up with this, I'm going to slowly pull this off of here. And if I need a little help, I can slide my weeding tool in between it on the edges, and it will help me. That way I don't tear it, even though it doesn't matter if we tear it. It's just easier to get off of there. Funny how I say that. Try not to poke it and put a hole in it. So I'm just pushing down. Just trying to go in between. Okay, I'm going to pause while I finish the rest of this. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the paper peeled off here. And when I was peeling, I had a little bit of the paper coming up. So if I did, I'm going to take my weeder easily and go behind it and pick it up, so that way it doesn't pull any more off of there. And another note, if you get some bubbles in here on the transfer, you're going to work from the inside out and smooth those out before, so that way this will be pressed perfectly. So I think I'm going to press it this way. Okay. All right. And we are going to press it at 350 degrees for 30 seconds with a low to medium press, and it's going to be a cool peel. So I've already adjusted for my low to medium. That way it's not, I don't have to get down on it for the pressure. And again, this is the Inktra Opaque stretch. Okay, bear with me. I'm not a camera person. My main goal is doing this is to see that you know how to use the products properly, and because if you don't know how to use them, I wouldn't want them. Okay, so I'm going to pre-press for a few seconds to get the moisture out. Okay. And I, just from doing, go backwards. Let's get some of the lint off of it. Okay. Would help if I, okay. So I think I'm going to put it on there like this. And the reason why I'm pushing it up is because of that collar has a ridge in it, so that way it'll press firmly. Okay, so this one goes on 350 for 30 seconds. Be right back. Okay, so I was taking a tip from a customer on using the transfer. I usually peel, put it down, and if I have to do heat tape, I will, and then press it. I tried it just to see. At the top of it though, it wrinkled it, so I don't know if I would use this again, that technique, because it scrunched up right down here, but it's beautiful and perfect down here. So I think I would stay with my method of just slowly peeling it off the paper, laying it down. If you need some heat tape, you can tape it a little bit and then press it. But other than that, it's very pretty. Now let me adjust for the light, because that one is going to be pressed at 375, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I want to, while my heat press is heating up, I want to go over and tell why these two products are different. The dark one for the machine wash is recommended, and it's not recommended for generic inks or refill ink cartridges, just because it could wash off. Now, whenever you launder this, the first time you wash this garment, you're going to turn it inside out. You're going to wash it using warm water with mild detergent. Tumble dry low. Do not bleach or iron directly on the transfer. Or dry clean. Okay? So, that is on that one. Let me move this one out of the way. Okay? And on this one, we are going to wash this one inside out in cold water. Do not use bleach. You can place into a dryer, but place in a dryer. Preferably do not hang to dry. Do not iron over the shirt's image, of course. And it's always best to wash your shirt before wearing it. And again, with the ink, if you're using refill or non-brand, it could wash off. That's what it's saying on this one. Okay, and so you notice on this one, I have a little bit of white around here. I did this on purpose, and I moved it over on purpose, because if you cut it just like it is after you trace it, you'll get a good edge. But if you move it, this is what happens, because it doesn't know exactly where you put it on the paper. If you move it, you're going to have to retrace your image. So I did this on purpose, so that way you can see the difference between the dark and the light. The light is that it presses clear. So this will press clear on the white, and it will, what I say is, fall into the shirt. So I will show you this in just a moment. Okay, so now I'm going to pre-press. I always forget this thing has a slide out. I'm not used to a slide out. So it's very handy. That way you don't burn your hands. I always like to move this up because it's going to leave a ridge and your plate is not going to be firmly down on whatever you're pressing. That's just my preference. You can use a pressing pillow that I have. Okay. So I'm going to pre-press this for a few seconds to get the moisture out. Okay. All right. So now, see, I'm going to look, because this one's going to be flipped down, but I'm going to look and see which way the image would look best. Okay, so I'm going to put it right about there. And get my Teflon sheet. Make sure it's down flat. Okay, and then on this one we are only going to press for 20 seconds to 30 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and change my time to 20 seconds. Stand, pause. Okay. Take my Teflon sheet off. Slide this back out. See if I can move you around over here. Okay. And again, I'm using my weeding tool because I have a few edges, so that way the paper doesn't Okay, so I have a little bit of paper. Let's see if I can pull you down just a little bit. Okay, so the paper is pulling right here. I have my weeder with the back side up under it, not to poke it, and to move it, to get it to come with the edges. I guess I should have used a video with something that doesn't. Okay, so you see the white right here. Let's see. It printed the white right here, okay? So this is what I was wanting to show you. And let me get around this. Okay? You see how you can still see it, but it falls into the white shirt. On a light shirt, you want to make sure that you don't have those edges. Okay. And then let me go back carefully. Okay. So, and the difference on this one is this one's flat, this one's really nice. Because I used the mask or the heat transfer, I have a little bit of a wrinkle up here, but down at the bottom it is smooth. You can tell a little bit of a difference with the dark being brighter than the light, but overall really nice. I'm going to wash these and bring these back up here so that way you can take a look at them. They're not perfect by no means. I mean, I tried to do the transfer. I had some customers that's the way that they do it. I prefer just peeling it off and placing it. If you need to use a little bit of heat tape, you can. So trial and error. You never know until you try. And you learn from trying. So if y'all have any questions, comment. And I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear from you, and you tell me anything else that you would like to see. All right.